Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be something new that I'm going to try out. Don't know how well it's going to go. A few years back, I tried this before, and hence you will see this is called number 2. So this is going to be my podcast, I guess we're going to call this for right now, that I'll stream on this channel or place up on this channel, however the lingo goes. And I'm just gonna spout out some thoughts about various things relating to film and television or whatever. And we'll see how this goes on this channel. Of course, if you're a subscriber, I'm loving the fact that I have like 5 or 6, and it's going to be excellent to watch this grow, because there are going to be a number of different things that I'm hoping and preparing and have in my mind for the Silent Film Group channel overall, or just the brand overall. And hopefully, you'll be patient as we grow and yada yada. Action speaks louder than words. So I kind of want to get... Hold on one second. I just want to run and get this glass of water that I left on this couch. Hold on. Because I feel like I might have a lot to say. Me being long-winded or whatever. Anyway, yeah, I wanted to talk about some of the films that I've seen recently. And I'm, like I said, I tend to go into a tirade, so just hopefully this will all make sense. But, fuck it. Let's just go for it. So I want to start off talking about the film Wonder Woman, directed by Patty Jenkins, starring Gal Gadot. So far, is doing excellent in theaters, at least in the States. We know what the numbers, which is great. I'm definitely happy for them. And it shows you that, Warner Brothers basically needed a woman's touch, because they are batshit crazy. Batshit crazy. I still believe, if you've ever had a chance to look at or read any of my blog, Digital Cinemakers Anonymous blog, which I'll put in the link below. I think that they're probably gonna go fucking under and go out of business, as crazy as it sounds. But, whatever. I've predicted crazier things to people, and I've come up correctly. It's just the way they're allocating all this money to these films, and I'm sure this has been going on for years, but it's a lot of craziness if you just analyze, especially with the DC properties. They really seem like they have no fucking idea what they're doing, and I'll rant on that right now while we're on, and I'll digress back to Wonder Woman. I personally believe that, well, in the opening of Wonder Woman, they show you were witnessed to the new DC logo. Of course, they're trying to copy Marvel's logo with all these characters and of the like. And I personally think a majority of those properties you will never fucking see. Call me crazy, whatever. You will not see. There's a guy, at least is the one that I found in this channel, called New Rock Stars. His clip that he put up is new DC Universe opening promo, and he breaks down all the characters. The reason I don't understand why he has a majority of the characters in silhouette. I guess maybe because he took it was a screenshot. It's a bad screenshot or whatever. But yeah, he does a breakdown of all the characters that, he believes they're going to be getting their own films, and it's not going to fucking happen. I just really don't think it's going to fucking happen. I know I'm crazy. I think by the time they can really just get this shit right, they're gonna crumble. As we're starting to see now with the lunacy over at Universal as well, with this whole Dark Universe shit and the Mummy bombed. But I'll get onto that. If not, I'll go into another rant on another time. So, I'm just trying to decide if I want to stay on this, if I want to jump to one to stay on. Okay, I'll stay on this. It seems as if they're trying to play in the same sandbox as Marvel, then they definitely have to get their DC universe in order. And I really don't get that feeling that their shit is in order. It's like every fucking week it's a new, press release about a new property that they're going to be doing. Oh, we're doing Gotham City Sirens. Oh, we're doing fucking Black Adam. And they announce all these films, that are going to be like, 4 years later, 20 years later. And when you look at, what they have this year outside of Wonder Woman, they have the Justice League and they have, and that's it. Actually, I was going to say Aquaman, but Aquaman's still in production. And that's not due until next year. And they're probably going to take the chance and drop that movie, I'm going to say in July, because if Infinity War is coming out in May or June, they can fucking forget about it. I don't give a fuck how good Justice League is. They can forget about it. Because I think that Wonder Woman was way more heavily anticipated than an Aquaman film. I personally think that the only reason why they actually put this whole shit together, especially Aquaman, I think it all goes back to fucking Entourage and Vinny Chase, if you ask me. And James Cameron, who was attached. If anyone saw that show Entourage and that season. And then, once Marvel got on their feet, then it just got amplified even more. Warner Brothers, I still, do not understand why they just didn't use the television characters, because that would have saved them a shitload of money. As far as casting and everything, just roll that over into film. It's not like it hasn't been done. We've seen fucking X-Files. We've seen Entourage. We've seen Sex and the City. Roll those films. Roll those TV shows into films. So, anything else that they're talking about, oh, it's a different universe. It's a different universe. It's a universe that you guys are going to continue to fuck up from not doing shit like this. And to be quite honest, I even believe that Universal is, Marvel is, showing little cracks. I wasn't a big fan of Jessica Jones. Wasn't a big fan of Power Man. Luke Cage was just in my brain. And I definitely wasn't a fan of of Iron Fist. My mind is light years ahead of my mouth. And I wasn't a big fan of Iron Fist. And I wish I hadn't just sat there and watched the entire season, thinking that shit was going to change, and it didn't. So, it just seems like the DC Universe or Warner Brothers, I think that Warner Brothers has their hands wrapped around DC's throat, especially because they own it. And they're not kind of letting go. So they're just making all this crazy shit happen, and just spouting off all this shit rather than just having someone in-house to oversee the DC properties, and they can make those press releases and navigate, the sea for which films and how they're going to create the universe. And it's so funny because this all goes back to Kevin Smith, who on one of his podcasts and I think shows, he mentioned several years back when they were planning to do the Superman film with Nicolas Cage, he got offered a chance to run the DC universe for Warner Brothers, and in typical Kevin Smith fashion, who I do like, he fucking turned it down because I think he has a thing with change, or wanting to put on the big shoes and just saying fuck it, and if I fail, I fail, if I win, I win, and just go ahead and just fail big. I think that he hasn't like completely just said fuck it yet. He's saying fuck it with the smaller films that he's releasing that aren't very good, and it's not like the concepts aren't good, it's just that in my opinion, his writing isn't very good. And I don't know if it's because he's getting stoned and that's having the opposite effect on his fucking writing when he's writing these, and I'm just going based off of the shit that he says on his shows. I am not making up anything. I'm not hating. Is from his fucking mouth, because I have issues with the guy. This is the guy who made fucking Chasing Amy and damn, I had the name of the film in my head and it's gone. And his earlier works, the one with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. So he knows he has skill sets to write, but it's just like he's just fucking around with these smaller films. And I'm like, all right, dude, at least, have some high spots. But I digress. Anyway, yeah, Kevin Smith was supposed to run the DC universe, and he turned that down. And that could have really made a fucking difference, because Kevin Smith wrote Green Arrow comic books, and he's look, his fucking first film, Clerks, Dogma, that was the film, Dogma. His fucking first film, Clerks, and Mallrats, he has dialogue about fucking comic books and shit like that. So we know that, he knows that fucking world. So yeah, anyway, so I feel that Warner Brothers, they're just spouting off shit. When they see the success of something, they jump on the bandwagon and they just go, oh yeah, we're going to do this. Oh yeah, we're going to do that. Once Suicide Squad was a financial hit, not a hit with, the fanboys and, regular people that don't read comic books, non-comic book readers, we'll call it that. And they saw that, they knew that the fans wanted to see a Harley Quinn character, over everything else. The first thing they said, I think it might have even been rumored that we were going to get a Joker Harley Quinn movie. Then they just say, fuck it, we're going to do Gotham Sirens. And it's not going to be tied into the, the Justice League or anything, or it's going to be like its own separate thing. And now they're talking about Batgirl, which is kind of from left field, but I have a feeling that that's what Joss Whedon wanted to do, since, we're now finding out that he's been secretly on the low under the table, cutting his side deals and writing a bit of the Justice League. We're going to probably find out a little bit more once the Justice League comes out and it is a success. And that's going to be a whole other side thing, because if this film is a success, who is going to get the credit? Is it going to be Zack Snyder, or is it going to be Joss Whedon? Anyhow, yeah, I think the Batgirl was something that he wanted to do, because we also know that he also wanted to write Wonder Woman. And then there are people that said that his version of Wonder Woman wasn't that great, but this is years ago, and he probably would have made a lot of changes, Anyway, so yeah, as I've stated, a lot of these fucking films I do not believe that you will see anytime fucking soon. I do not think that you're going to see a Black Adam movie anytime soon, especially when you look at Dwayne Johnson, aka The Rock's fucking schedule, because he's signing on to everything that he can get his hands on. You might get lucky and see a Shazam film. I don't think that they should put in Armie Hammer as he wants, as Dwayne Johnson said that's what he suggested. I think if you're gonna go that way, this is where you kind of elevate someone like a John Cena who's trying to break into films, who also has the body chiseledness to fit into that costume. And if you're going to do a Black Adam movie, if we ever get to see that, or even if you just do a Shazam film versus Black Adam, then you have two guys that look like they can go at each other. Unless Armie Hammer is going to get on the regimen right now, and start bulking up for a commitment that he hasn't even signed on to, and I'm sure there's no fucking script, then he's got to get in the league to even look like he can fuck with The Rock. But I will say John Cena, because he's slowly making his transition into films. And if anything, you would think that, Dwayne Johnson, it's time for him to start pushing fucking former wrestlers, and stop being Holly Rock and, kind of walking away from them, or just, this is a whole other conversation for another time. Yeah, anyway. So, I digress. That's my little spiel on the DC universe. I just basically say don't even fucking hold your breath. They don't even have a fucking script for the next Superman. They're still fucking trying to tie down a director for Superman. They're still trying to tie down a fucking Superman sequel. They're still trying to tie down a fucking director for the fucking Flash. Come on. Oh yeah, we're doing this film, and we're doing this film, and we're doing this film, and Justice League 2 will definitely come out, and this one, that, and that. And then they're supposedly doing reshoots with fucking Justice League now, adding in more Wonder Woman. This is the rumor, whatever. We don't know, but just the fact that there shouldn't be all this fucking controversy around a fucking, history of fucking stories that have their own books, shitloads of fucking books, shitloads of fucking, nostalgia and storylines that fucking people want to see. And there's always a fucking different shoe in the fucking soup, mixing up shit that they have no fucking business doing. So it's just, you just hearing all this shit. How many directors they go through for fucking Aquaman? When I look at the Marvel Universe, the most I heard, and someone, hey, leave it in the comment section, the most I heard as far as shakeup was when they were trying to do Black Panther. They went through, almost every black director, until they, negotiated with Ryan Coogler. And from what I was told, is that was a hardcore negotiation. I don't think that they've ever given as much freedom, to someone in that universe. Because from what I remember, I'm spazzing on his name. The guy who plays Steve Rogers, he made a comment about how, they're very, Marvel is very hands-on. They make sure that you say the line exactly as it's written because each piece means something, but, yeah, so they really, Coogler was able to bring in his own team of fucking people. As far as the writing of it, I have no idea, but, I guess that, he had Universal in the chokehold, based off of the fact that, him being nominated a number of times. So he came with, a heavy resume. And, they were kind of, in a corner where they were running out of people. So I guess they decided to give him what he wanted. But I digress. Again, just to state that you're, watching all these fucking directors jump ship. When you even go back to, DC's Batman was supposed to be fucking Ben Affleck. He jumped, and I believe that he jumped ship. I believe that he jumped ship. He saw that he saw what was fucking going on. And being a fucking director, actor, he fucking was writing it. And I'm sure he was producing it on the side because he has that Oscar cash from that film that he won the Oscar for recently. I'm sorry, I'm spazzing on this. I just see the letter A right now. Anyway, he probably just realized, like, hey, look, I'm taking on too many fucking hats. You know, the pressure of writing this and dealing with the fanboys down his throat and people constantly asking him about the script. Him having to fucking stay in shape 24/7 now that he's, you know, into this character. And you're going to have to oversee the storyboards and production and all that other shit. And not like he can't do it, but then when you got to deal with the other bullshit politics of what, you know, the WWWB is fucking chokeholding them, I don't fucking blame him. So we're going to see what's going to happen with that. Okay, I've digressed so fucking much. Let's get to Wonder Woman. This is very short and sweet. But I do have different angles on Wonder Woman just in general. I'm going to start by saying again that I take my hat off to Gal Gadot and Patty Jenkins, and she actually was another one I just found out that had to fight. She had to fight for that first action scene against the fucking Germans from fucking, you know, WB and their fucking hands and shit. You know, that is probably, to me, the best scene in the film after the scene where Wonder Woman first attacks the Germans. Not when she first runs out, but the second part when she flies up on the roof and into the chapel and all that shit. That shit was tight. But yeah, I digress. Again, she had to fight for that shit. So it seems it's a constant fucking struggle with people that can't keep their hands out of the fucking business and just fly, just go. You know, so I'm glad that this film was a success. So now maybe they'll just leave her the fuck alone, let her do what she wants to do, and that'll be that. And it also puts her and hopefully Gal in a higher tax bracket, because since they had so many shit prior films, they didn't tie her down to a sequel. You know, actually, now that I rethink it, they might have. I'm not sure what Gal's contract is, and that's none of my business. But they usually will sign you in the first film and then sign you for, you know, a good 3 or 4 films. And she might have already met her commitments right after the Justice League. So, you know, we'll see. But either way, you know, great for them. Gal Gadot, I really enjoyed her as this character, and I'm extremely happy for her. I really took a liking to her in I guess it was the Fast Five, that last film that she was in of that franchise, and how she went out. I thought she went out as a G. And I've always thought, like, all right, it would be really great to see her again. You know, how are they going to use her in the franchise? You know, because sometimes you don't know what talent you're going to see again. You know, and the fact that they cast her, I thought, you know, hey, that's a pretty fucking cool idea for an actress who I feel, you know, is to certain people at that time that didn't see the Fast and Furious franchise or will never will. She's a newcomer to them, you know. So the fact that, you know, she was able to get this part and do very well, it's beautiful. The sound of her voice and the way, you know, she has like a raspiness to her voice. It's just sort of kind of like almost gritty. And her accent really makes the character work. Although, I would have really, I wanted to see, an actress like Catherine Winnick in this part as well. I wanted to see what she would have brought to the table. For those that may not know her, she plays Lagertha on the show Vikings, and she basically is fucking kicking ass. And those that know her resume, she's steep in the martial arts. And this is not to do a comparison with Gal Gadot, who's a fucking military, head, comes from the military, has a military background and yada yada. But just the fact that when you see her, photos of her as Lagertha with the sword and the way she kicks ass, it was almost as if the fucking part was tailor made for her, in some sorts. Then I also found out that she also had interest in being Miss Marvel, and I thought that she would have been really fucking good in that. I think that Brie Larson, was, look, great actress. But sometimes I think that studios go for safe bets, and they're really casting really excellent people in these parts, no doubt. She's fresh off the Oscar win. And, there's certain talent to me that, the way I look at it, and just in my little small little world, that if she doesn't become Miss Marvel, she's not going to starve, because I just think that she's just that talented. We do live in it, this is a business, of course, that just because you win an Oscar doesn't mean shit, as far as career. But as far as I'm concerned, it can mean shit if you make it mean shit. And of course, that's a whole other podcast. It's just about you fucking making do with what you have. And you take lemons and you fucking make lemonades. But maybe that'll be the next podcast. You take lemons, make lemonade. I'm going to fucking write that down right now. Lemons to lemonade. I have a lot of shit to get off my chest, people. A lot of shit. I talk a lot of shit. And this is one of the reasons why I decided just to put this together. It's like, you know what? You talk a lot of shit. You got a lot of thoughts, a lot of good thoughts. And you share a lot of good thoughts with people. And you guys sit and have long dialogues about the business and whatever. So I just decided, why not fuck with this? Okay, so, yeah, I think that, casting Winnick as either Wonder Woman or Miss Marvel, I think is an excellent choice. This is just my crazy fucking world. I also think that they should have at least given a nod for Miss Marvel to the actress from Battlestar Galactica, who's now in that other show that's just about to wrap, Longmire. I'm checking IMDb now, so it should come up, because I like to get the talent's name. I like to get the actors and actresses' names on point. And probably by the time I fucking get it, Katie Sackhoff, I thought that she would have made another great choice for Miss Marvel. But, these are just the opinions of me. It is what it is. I don't run this fucking shit. Anyway, so, yeah, I thought Gal Gadot did an excellent job, despite the shit that I just talked. And I thought, look, when it comes to these films, there are a lot of people that you could cast that are, I'm sure that there are 13, well, I'm not going to say 13, 5 people that are usually great for this role, and it could go either way. And I know that those women, I know Catherine went up for Wonder Woman, and I believe she, at least, I don't know if she went up for Miss Marvel, but I know that she wanted both of those parts. So it is what it is. I love the way that their world looked. The Amazonian island that she came from. I can't remember the name of it, and I'm not going to even attempt to make an ass out of myself right now, even further. I love the deep blue water and how Patty Jenkins made that look. It's fucking excellent. My only drawback comes in the third act of the film. Oh, I also want to tip my hat off to Chris Pine. For some reason, I don't know why, he always rubs me the wrong way, even as Kirk. You know, he does take on a lot of mannerisms of fucking William Shatner. But I don't know why. I just haven't really taken to him yet. But in this film, yeah, I really liked him as Steve Trevor in this film. I really did. So my hat goes off to him. And I really was surprised of the ending of the film. I wasn't sure like how they were going to handle that. But, you know, for those that haven't seen the film, I'm going to not do any spoilers. And for now, what I'm going to do, if I speak in spoilers, I'm going to do my best to put that shit in the titles of these little podcasts. Just put spoilers galore, or some shit like that, because I fucking can't stand the term spoilers, and I can't stand when people just do it, you know, as if I knew a guy. I used to work with a fucking guy. I'm not going to even say the fucking name. This fucker would sit here and tell you the whole fucking movie and then go, yeah, man, you really got to check it out. That shit would fucking kill me. So at a certain point, I would just stop talking films with him. You know, I would just like not want to discuss shit, because I knew if I didn't see it, I was just going to just leave him alone. Anyway, the only part that I didn't like was the third act, when it came to the Ares character. Oh, also, I want to say a fucking kudos, and I was surprised to see Robin Wright in this. I thought that was excellent casting, man. I was really surprised. I mean, she's an actress that, you know, seemingly to me, you know, has a lot of gravitas, what I consider meat potatoes actress. I say actress here. That can pretty much do no wrong. So yeah, I take my hat off to her for that. Just them deciding to put her in there. That's also, I thought Connie Nielsen was also a great choice, especially as tall as she fucking is. And finally, that someone can really, you know, a project that can utilize her height, you know, as well as her beauty. So, you know, thumbs up on that one. Okay, so now I get back to the also Saeed, who plays Samir, and that line when he basically is talking about how he wanted to be an actor. That shit right there. You know, you pick those right actors that can fucking just, you know, take the characters, make it their own, and just steal a little bit of the screen time, enough that you fucking remember them. I like that. I like that a lot. Ares. I wish that Ares was just a god that created various entities that spawned evil. I don't think that they should have put him in physical form so soon. And this is a fucking thing that bothers me about fucking Hollywood. You know, that they rush shit so much, and there's no reason to rush it. I think that, you know, the fact that Steve Rogers doesn't tell her, you know, that, hey, at least in his world, there is no Ares. It's just a mythical fucking story to us in our world. And then you have this, you know, story arc where they realize that he takes shape in various human forms. So he is fucking Ludendorff. Then somewhere down the line, if they would do another, go back in the past, he's Hitler. He's, all these lunatics that have, waged war, have done fucking evil in history, and they can connect the dots to that, where she realized, or maybe at the end, she realized like, hey, he takes many forms and I will stop them all. Because when you look at the film, her goal was to kill Ares and the evil stops. And they did this, little thing where she defeated him, and then it looked like everyone just stopped what they were doing and the war just stopped. And it was all love. It was like they saw God for the first time. And, the music came on and whoop-de-woo. And, and as I'm sitting there watching this going, well, if this is the case, then there would be no fucking reason for a Justice League. There would be no reason for a sequel. There would be no reason for anything else. So why are we even going in this direction? So if you basically split him off, and split Ares off and just make him into a god that creates various entities, that creates various people that do evil things, it's as she has to keep fighting him and keep fighting him and keep fighting him until, let's say, we do Wonder Woman 5 or even the fucking Justice League. You see an actual god, because the way that they did that opening and you see the gods fighting, if they would have stuck to that and brought that character, we're talking about 5 years into the future when the special effects, of course, get better every 6 months. And now you take that opening that you did and you make that actual Ares and you have her fucking fight Ares. Even if, let's say, you're going to stop making Wonder Woman films, or you're going to stop making Justice League films, or you're going into a completely direction, you start closing the cases up and you finally have her meet the actual god Ares, and she fights him and she wins. And then you have that fucking moment of everyone is seeing God and this is how we're going to end it, just like this, and whatever. I just feel like it's just one of those things where they just, once again, too fast, too soon. Too fast, too soon, and it just did not have to go that way, just in my opinion. I see a lot of this in various films, and when I saw it here, I was just like, they fucking like rushed it too goddamn soon. It's like when I look at the Star Wars thing, right? All right, so now they spun off and they're doing Han Solo, right? And it's like, okay, so we're doing Han Solo, so it's like they rush to find shit for Han Solo. So it's like, how, what can we connect with Han Solo? And the first fucking thing one of the first things they do is they go, oh, okay, Lando Calrissian. And it's like, yo, like Lando, if this is like, just, just flesh the character of Han Solo out. Let me see how he, first meets Chewbacca, and to see a young Chewbacca. We don't need a fucking side story, Chewbacca solo film, a Chewbacca short film that you can do, spend a little bit. It's not like they're hurting for money. They got money coming out the asshole. So Disney could just have done a Chewbacca short film, and either put it on their fucking Marvel, on their Disney site, Star Wars site, release it on VOD or whatever, just like Marvel and DC does with these animated, but don't make this animated, make an actual short fucking film and show a little bit of Chewbacca's world that would tie in to the Han Solo film. And it's going to make you anticipate that shit even more. But they do the typical shit, and they fucking, let's go, Lando Calrissian. And then I'm sure Boba Fett's name was fucking probably on the table, and I'm sure they already talking about Greedo and all this other shit, you know, and it's just like, dude, like, let's not rush this. Let's just see what we got. You know, let's just put this on the table. You know, let's just, you know, flesh out. Let's just see who Han Solo is for at least 90 minutes. Let's watch him, even as, you know, do some shit like maybe he's a kid and he's a fucking card shark, or he fucking hustles dice or some shit. You know, and I know the film hasn't come out. Maybe these things are in there and I'm talking out the side of my ass. But, you know, like, I just feel like, you know, Han Solo, or I mean Lando Calrissian, could have waited till like the second film at least, you know. And they always do like what's safe, you know, always do what's fucking safe. Or you could have even done a standalone one-shot Lando Calrissian film after fucking Han Solo. Then, you know, in the sequel they're gonna meet up. What they do shit backwards. They wait to see the response, and then they go, oh, which is basically what I was saying with fucking DC. Oh, okay, well, they like Lando so much, why don't we just give him a standalone film, or even just do a Lando short? You know, him hustling somebody, you know, hopping in the Millennium Falcon, and it's a setup for the sequel. And you're just like, oh shit, for 45 minutes or for 30 minutes, I just watched a short fucking film with Lando Calrissian, and I fucking want more, and they gotta put him in the fucking sequel. They always work fucking backwards, in my opinion. And it just always, just like, you know, they rush. I felt the same way with fucking X-Men First Class. You know, I felt like they rushed it. I felt like, look, let's explore Charles and I can't remember Magneto's fucking born name. You know, explore that world a little bit. Don't rush to put him in the fucking wheelchair. At the end of the fucking shit, boom, bullet in the back, wheelchair time. Now he's fucking confined. And now they're doing all these other little anecdotes. Oh, I have this truth serum. Oh, truth serum. I have this serum. And Nightcrawler creates, not fucking Nightcrawler, Beast creates, and if I put it in him, he takes it, and then he can walk. And but it's like, no, why don't you just, when we fucking did Future Past, and fucking Logan goes in the past, he goes in a world where fucking Charles is fucking still walking yet. We haven't built that yet. We haven't gotten to that point yet. You know, and all this shit goes into them rushing. Okay, now we need to do, the fucking, what was the last fucking X-Men film? With the money who they made fucking blue and shit. Apocalypse. Now we have to rush Apocalypse. Like, no, they shouldn't even be on fucking Apocalypse yet. You know, but it's like, oh, we don't have any new ideas, or what's hot? What do they want to see? Oh, they want to see this, so we'll put this out. Like, you know, make people fucking wait for it. Make them wait for it. I want to see, you know, what type of shit that, you know, Charles, you know, Xavier, you know, gets into with fucking Eric. That's his name. Fucking Eric. I want to see, you know, what he and Eric did before he got fucking, you know, paralyzed. I want to see that world first. You know, just fucking, you know, even if it was just a sequel, you know, X-Men First Class, then the next one, this is what we're going to do. This is going to be the setup for, you know, but just, I just would have liked to see what that shit looks like, rather than let's just rush it, put him in the wheelchair, fucking Han Solo. Oh, you know what Han Solo means? It means every cliche that we've known in the past. We have to rush it into one fucking film. And it's like, no, you don't. Just build that world where there's nothing there. You build that world where nothing's there, and you really pique my interest even more. Wow, they did a whole Han Solo flick with no mention of fucking Boba Fett, no mention of fucking Lando. We get to see Chewie, a young Chewie, other shit. We create new fucking characters, you know, around him. You know, I don't want to see a fucking young Jabba the Hutt and all the little bullshit that we've already fucking seen, because we've already seen it. We already know where that leads up to. Come up with new fucking things and new fucking people. God damn it. They kill me with this shit. They rush everything, but and all off of Wonder Woman. It's just shit that I've just seen, so many fucking times, man. It was just, we gotta get to this. We gotta get to this. It's like, easy on this. Easy. Yeah, so that was my only, thing with Wonder Woman. And that was the only fucking pet peeve that I had about the film. Is that, it should just been a nice little slow cooking meal that, has many parts to it rather than just feeling rushed. And it also gives like false hope at the end. Knowing that, you kill Ares when you think about it. And once again, as I stated, and nothing really happens. But we're given this, wrapped up gift as if it does. So, but I'm glad the numbers are good. I'm glad that means that DC can, move on from their past flaws, like, releasing an unfinished version of fucking Batman versus Superman, or however they want to tell the story. And don't get it twisted, there are gonna be fucking extra scenes that come out from fucking Wonder Woman. Because if you remember, they said the same shit for Batman versus Superman. They said the same shit for fucking Suicide Squad. And when both of those fucking videos dropped, then you found out, cut scenes, yada yada yada. So don't believe anybody's bullshit, including the director, because I'm sure that this is what they fucking, Warner Brothers might have said to do so that we can get more sales on Blu-ray, because this is their new fucking gimmick now, it seems. All you gotta do is just go and just do your own research. Go type in fucking Warner Brothers, extra footage from fucking Batman v Superman. Go on fucking like a website like Dark Horizons and you'll see it. There's no new footage in this. And type in Suicide Squad on Dark Horizons. There's no new Suicide Squad this. Then what you see, the extended version. So trust and believe, by fucking October when this film drops out, I'm thinking that they're probably going to release it in October or late September, because it'll be closer to Halloween and all the women will go out and buy Wonder Woman costumes for Halloween and yada yada yada. So, that's my little spiel on Wonder Woman. And, should I end it here? Should I keep going? Well, fuck it. I'll keep going. Another film that I saw, I actually fucking walked out of, so I'll just keep it frank, was Alien Covenant. And I got to the part where I knew that the Michael Fassbender character, David, was going to kill old boy in it. I saw that coming. And I said, all right, he's changing. When he said, come with me, I want to show you something, I knew that he had shit hatched. And I think he even had it. Yeah, he said something, related to that in the dialogue. And my mind just went, this motherfucker's like hatching them, And I think, if I recall, he's basically explaining that, he was basically explaining to Billy Crudup's character, the whole system, the whole get down, like, how they're breeding and this is what it is, and you guys basically, in so many words, are fucking guinea pigs, and this is what we're doing, and yada yada yada. So once he said, come with me, I want to show you some, I already fucking knew what was gonna happen. I think that these guys, including Ridley Scott, I think that they are still chasing Aliens. The imprint. Anyone that steps into the shoes to make an alien film, to me, is chasing James Cameron. And is chasing James Cameron, his version of Alien. Aliens. His version, Aliens. Let me say that all over again. Anyone that takes on an alien film is chasing James Cameron's Aliens film. By far the fucking best Aliens, the best alien film out of the fucking franchise to date. And they are probably on what Alien, this is probably like the 5th or 6th fucking alien film, you know, and they have yet to catch up with it. Prometheus was cool as a prequel, and I understand that you have some scientific stuff in here that you want to get off your chest. I get it, because to me, I feel that that's what that film was made up to be. Also, that's another example. Remember when Prometheus came out and fucking Ridley Scott? It has nothing to do with Alien, yada yada yada. Then you fucking find out, oh yeah, it has a lot to do with Alien. Oh yeah, you know, it's like, these are old fucking gimmicks. If you just read between the fucking lines, it's like, come on, man. There's a lot of buzz saying that this shit might be about aliens. Just come clean. Just say, yo, this is a fucking Aliens prequel. We want you guys to like it. You know, oh, it's none. Then, you know, once the shit is, you know, a moderate success, then you start going hard. Oh, yeah, it's, you know, all about aliens and da-da-da-da-da. And, you know, I personally am starting to wonder about Ridley Scott a little bit. And this has, in my world, in my opinion, you know, has nothing to do with ageism. But sometimes, and I guess this is kind of what Tarantino was talking about as far as him directing, but I still think that he's like of a different cloth, because I believe that you're going to see him. He's going to transition to movies and shit like that. Like, once that bug is in you, you fucking can't stop. And he even alluded to it in an interview, or a few interviews, when he was trying to write The Hateful Eight. He was going to do it as a novel with Django in it and whatever. And he was having a problem, and he just said to himself, you know, I'd have an easier time if I just wrote this into a script. And he basically sold out, stopped writing that shit, and went to write it and turn it into a screenplay. And that right there says you still have the itch. So as far as these 8 films are concerned, I'm not going to be fooled. You know, what he's probably going to do to soothe his soul, to make sure that no one is right, he's probably going to step away from that, from doing films, and he's going to do television. Because he also stated in that very interview that when he did Inglourious Bastards, he was going to do it into a television show. And another director, I can't remember who, talked him out of it and said, you should just do this into a film, because Quentin Tarantino doesn't do TV, he does films. And Quentin realized, like, oh yeah, and got gassed up off of it. He should have did it as a TV show, because out of all those films, that's the one that I really didn't like the most. And I gotta circle back and watch it again. I felt the best part was with the God, I always spaz on shit, with the 2 Jewish cats at the end. What the fucking director? What's the fucking director's name? The one who's doing Death Wish now. He's funny as fuck too. I thought he was really funny. I thought that shit at the end had me fucking cracking up. Those 2 characters had me cracking up at the end of that fucking movie. And I was like, yo, this is a fucking movie in its own, man. Them running around just doing shit. Now, of course, I gotta look it up, because it's fucking bugging me. Yes, this me typing the fucking IMDb. Shut the fuck up. Okay. Oh, for shame. That's funny. I typed in the original Inglourious Bastards, and they usually give you, you know, if you like that, you'll like this, and they don't even have that. So I'm thinking that I can get to the other Inglourious Bastards on IMDb. That is fucking hilarious. And I'm surprised that both films didn't pop up in the search menu. Hilarious. So what, did Quentin change the name? Do a misspelling? That's fucking hilarious. Okay. Bear with me, folks. This is a motherfucking podcast. Or is it? This is like my test podcast, I guess. See how long you guys can fucking take my fucking rants and voice and shit like that. Oh wow, there's some sort of a documentary this is Quentin Tarantino, 20 years of filmmaking. It's like, that's bullshit, because he has been making fucking films for fucking 20 years straight. Like, cut that shit out. You know, there's like fucking 5-year gaps. Oh shit, then they have another one that says Quentin Tarantino, 21 years, Quentin Tarantino. This is just fucking just various people trying to make money off the Tarantino name, I take it. Okay, let me go here. Yeah, it is, because it has various stars. I'm sorry, I know I'm just going on a side rant. Oh, let me see something. Hold it. Okay, I think he added a U to his Inglourious Bastards, and that's why it's not pulling up. Eli Roth. See, that shit was going to bug me. Eli Roth's character and his sidekick. I thought those motherfuckers, they were the fucking best. And I'm like, they should just did the fucking film around them. That's just my opinion. But anyway, yeah, I digress so much. He is of a different cloth, in my opinion, as far as guys that are going to retire. But I'm not saying that, this is not to say that Ridley Scott should retire. And this has nothing to do with ageism. I repeat, this has nothing to do with ageism. The actual term ageism in regards to your age. I think that sometimes you have directors that age out of the industry sometimes, where it's like you've been in the industry for so long that your perspective isn't what it used to be. You've kind of like lost the pepper a little bit, and it almost I'm starting to feel that way with Ridley Scott. You know, a little bit, that it's like you lost like some there. When you look at all the fucking projects, I'm on his shit right now, his page right now. I look at all these fucking projects that he has in production just as a producer, right? And then you look at all the fucking projects that he's done. Now, if you want to say someone that's 20 years, you know, a filmmaker, this might be the guy, because it's fucking very few gaps in his, you know, directing. It's like almost, you know, 2-year gap. Did he, you know, 1-year gap? You know, sometimes you need to maybe take a break. Take a 5-year break. You know, between a film. Go vacate. Go do something. Then come back. Fresh eyes. Fresh this. Ready to take on the world. Go to Hawaii. Go to Cancun. Go to and live there for a while. And I know that's one of the things that Quentin used to do, or does, because I've heard him say it in fucking interviews that, yo, I need a life. So, you know, this is why there are gaps, you know, when I'm making a film, because I want to go do shit. You know, and when I look at his resume and I see the film after film after film after film after film, now I'm going to go up, because there's someone else that I want to look into, and his name is James Cameron. Is another person, but this motherfucker's on some different shit, because from what I've heard is that he's a little bit of a fucking asshole and a bit of a tyrant, you know, when it comes to getting his shit done, you know. But when I like kind of, you know, look at the way that he's going, you know, it's almost, it's like he's stuck on this fucking Avatar shit. And in my opinion, I'm not even sure if Avatar is gonna like really mean anything to anybody because it's been, look, I'm on IMDb and the fucking it's slated for fucking 2020. The first Avatar was in 2009. That's fucking like, 11 years. There's 11-year fucking gap. And this cat has been working on that shit since. And then when you look back at the shit that he was doing for fucking the Titanic, he couldn't let go of the Titanic. He did like, fucking 4 documentaries on the Titanic. Still, it's like, dude, you did the fucking first movie. Chill. It was a huge fucking success. And it's like, maybe it's an OCD thing where, you're just so obsessed and you just gotta keep going to well. Gotta keep getting it. It's like, I didn't get it right on this one, so I still gotta keep, there's still more. It's like, yo, I could see if Avatar came out 2011 or whatever, and I'm not one to subscribe to the whole special effects and yada 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 thing, because my take on it is, if you know, and I don't know shit about special effects, so I'm talking out the side of my ass. I'm talking about theory right now, okay? I'm honest enough to say the shit that I don't know. Cool with that. But if you know that, alright, if I know that I want Jabba the Hutt to look a certain way after the first one, that's when I become completely fucking obsessed. And he's got money out the asshole, so it's not like the money isn't there. And he has his own fucking SFX company that's making big bucks. You become obsessed with making the shit look like how you want it to look, way more faster than that. You build how many other fucking computers you need to build, whatever fucking software team you need to get together to get that shit done. To fucking be 11 years deep into a project, I can only imagine how many fucking rewrites the fucking sequel has gone through. And not that that's a bad thing, because it makes things better, but on the plain devil's advocate end, what happens if you're so obsessed with it that the first creation, the first 2 or 3 or 4 drafts that you did was fucking excellent, but you so stuck on this fucking shit that now it's getting to a point where you've completely fucked it up? And it's not only a second Avatar, he's slated to do fucking the 3rd one, the 4th one, and the 5th one, going all the way into 2025. So the fact that you took 11 years off strictly for fucking, because keep in mind, he hasn't directed anything, I don't believe, anything since that. Let me see. Nope, hasn't directed anything since Avatar. If I'm taking that much time off to do 4 more fucking different Avatars, all my fucking scripts should be fucking done. I would have gone through the ringer. If I'm fucking friends with Kevin Smith and Quentin Tarantino and whoever, I'm calling all those guys up. I'm sitting down with them like, look, I've been going for 11 years, or this movie's, let's just say we're going to go back some years. It's now, because this is me personally, this is the shit that I would do. It's 2009. I already had the concept for the sequel. And then it's going to lead me to some more sequels, right? I will give myself a fucking deadline. By 2015, I want to have all my shit written. All these scripts written. And at this point in time, I sit down with these people that the names that I mentioned, go look. Or even I'll throw in even a Chris Nolan, because he's a sci-fi guy. Directs a lot of sci-fi shit, right? And you get a team of people and you just have these table readings. And everyone goes over the script from people that you respect. And you make all your tweaks and all your shit, and that shit is like as solid as it's gonna get. And you don't need to fuck with it unless, somehow you might have predicted the future somewhere, and the future comes to pass before you get the film out, and you might want to tweak that a little bit. Okay, cool. if you're gonna tell me that by the time the second one comes out, in all honesty, I'll just fucking change what I was gonna say. By the time the second one comes out, the third one should be like how they did Back to the Future. And those were fucking successes, and they didn't drop the ball on that. So it's not like, oh, I'm naming a film that it bombed, or a franchise that bombed. We should be getting Avatar 2 and 3 the fucking same year. One in January, one in fucking September. You know, or one in the summer and one at the end of the year. We shouldn't be getting one in 2020, the next one 2021, the next one 24-25, the next one 25-25. Because now you're looking at after 3, basically what he has in pre-production. This is going all off IMDb. A fucking 3-year window. I'm not even sure that our interest is going to be still there after fucking 2. Because 2's got to be fucking aliens. It's got to be at a fucking level that it completely shuts my motherfucking mouth. That I don't even know where I will be in my fucking career. You know, what the fuck I'll be doing. Some fucking curmudgeon. Whatever. You know. And I'm talking like, fucking 2020 is like, not around the corner. It fucking is. But, like, let's just say Avatar 2 bombs. Is Fox gonna continue to give? Did I take it? Is this Fox? The studio. Are they gonna continue to fucking keep funneling money for the third and the fourth and the fifth? Like, what the fuck is gonna happen? And I say this, I bring this up to say that, sometimes you're, and like I did say that Cameron he's on a different side of things, where it's just like he is fucking obsessed with this to the point that there's been no other project that he's directed. He wrote the screenplay to Alita Battle Angel, which I'm hoping is going to be hot shit. And Robert Rodriguez, that's a whole other fucking story, because I'm hoping that this will fucking bring Robert Rodriguez to the fucking level that he's supposed to be at. And I hope that he's taking screenwriting lessons from these guys, because as far as his technique is solid. His writing is really fucking not good. Is much more to be desired. He doesn't really, especially from someone that's like best friends with Tarantino. He's gotta be fucking rubbing off on you, dude. Like, come on, like, your screenwriting's gotta be up to snuff. I mean, like, to me, he should be like our George Lucas, and I'm surprised they never offered him a Star Wars. But I'm hoping that after this Alita drops, they're gonna be sucking his nuts for him to do a fucking Star Wars film. But I digress. Again, I just go to say that, sometimes you hold on to things too much, and I'm wondering if he's holding on to this whole Avatar world too much, that he's losing the vision. And by the time the fucking sequel comes, because now you're fucking with a whole Marvel universe that's fucking kicking ass, and now you're fucking with, if DC were to make me eat my words and get their shit on point, by 2020 you're fucking around with a fucking DC universe. And let's just say, hypothetically speaking, the fucking dark universe that the fucking Universal stole, if they were to get their shit on point, and then you're talking about now the whole fucking universe for god damn, what's the fucking horror franchise now? I see the letter C. It's from Blumhouse. They're fucking Annabelle and all that shit. They're, all these fucking universes that are popping up that you gotta fucking compete with, and you still on fucking a film that 11 years later, that shit's gotta be hot butter fucking popcorn that tastes really, 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 really fucking great. I really do fucking wish, when I first saw Avatar in fucking 3D, the first thing that popped in my mind, when I saw the beauty of how he fucking used it, I said, this is exactly how you have to use The Terminator. The Terminator, if you're going to do the fucking rest of the franchise, it should be in this fucking 3D world. It should be a fucking all out. I want to see, which I've yet to see, I want to see Saving Private fucking Ryan in the Terminator storyline. That's what I fucking want. Plain and simple. And they had a chance when they went to go get fucking Connor with Christian Bale, and they didn't do it, and it just is what it is. But when I saw that Avatar, I said, man, this is how he has to, this is how Arnold Schwarzenegger will be able to do it and still look young and all this shit through this world. And I feel that if he would have fucking just, let me take a break from Avatar, fuck with that a little bit, even if he wasn't going to direct it, whatever, it could have been dope. But maybe there's shit that I'm saying that's incorrect. Everybody has their own opinion. But it makes me wonder if this Avatar, he's obsessing on it and not sure if this is going to really be a good look. But only time will tell. And I bring that up to say that when I go back to fucking Ridley Scott, you know, when you, like I said, once again, it's just my opinion. Film after 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 film, maybe the vision kind of gets a little blurred on, you know, what's really, really good in terms of projects. Like, all right, this is going to be really excellent, because we can all lose our way. You know, it's like those films that you see with those obsessed cops chasing those, you know, fucking serial killers, and you're obsessed, let this go. I can't, I have to catch him, he killed my family, and all that other shit, and whatever. And I bring this whole thing, I'm bringing it all home to say, like, when I watched Covenant, right, I want to see fucking Aliens 2, dude, or better. And the way that shit, when that shit kicked, when Alien Covenant kicked, I felt, all right, this shit is kicking, and this shit looks cool. I love the way, you know, with the introduction to them, when he burst out homie's back, that shit in the woods at night, I thought that shit was hot. And then you insert more science shit that's just heavy-handed, and just, or not even heavy-handed, just dialogue driven with this fucking robot. And it's like, you know, hello Walter, let's just have this long dialogue of conversation about science and about birth and life and death and humans and why we were created and why I watched my master, my creator, die, and da-da-da-da-da. Slow it down. Then you come back to give me more action. Then you slow it down again. Hello, let's talk about the sky and the ceiling and the water and the paint and why they came down. And then they did that fucking flashback scene with, you know, because they're on this planet with the alien race, you know, and them, you know, sitting in a circle, and comes down and all this shit. I'm like, what the fuck is this all about, bro? Like, if anything, you maybe do that in the beginning of the film to set the shit up, you know, and then, you know, you do some sort of voiceover, like that shit with fucking my man from Memento. And like, what the fuck? You know, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there was more at the end that led up to the shit that I, you know, before I fucking walked off on. But it just didn't seem that way. It just seemed like, you know, I got all this science shit in my head, and we need to make it more science. You know, and, you know, we have a couple of, you know, action scenes, and we go science, 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 science. Heady, 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 heady. And if anybody remembers the fucking Matrix, you know where that shit fucking went wrong. In that fucking white room, and it went heady, 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 to the point that they started doing spoofs on that shit, right? Heady, 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 heady. They lost their fucking way from the first fucking Matrix, and then right into the second half of the Matrix, they fucking started losing it. You know, it gets to a point where it's like, yo, we kind of got lost, and we just threw in some heady, deep scientific shit to, like, you know, fuck around. You know, but yeah, I fucking walked out on that shit because I just fucking got turned off. I'm like, what is this? It's like, you got these hot scenes, and then you fuck around, and then you do some other shit. You know, you take me out. It's basically, you take me out of it. You do this, and then you take me out of it. You do this, and then you take me out of it. You do this. It's like that scene from fucking Running Scared, the original Running Scared, when fucking Gregory Hines is fishing. It's like, he swims, and then he bails. And then he swims, he got the fucking thing on the line, and then he bails. And then he swims, and then he bails. Just trying to pull the fish up, and it just felt like I got them with some action, and then we go heady. And I got them, and then we all this dialogue, and then we go heady. And it's just like, pick a fucking side, man. Just pick a side. Just say, you know what? Everybody's in love. Me personally, I'd be like, you know what? Everybody's in love with aliens. I need to do something to make them fucking forget about aliens, or just go, you know, this shit is equivalent to aliens and is fucking dope. And I was watching one of the shows on Collider, one of their shows, and one of the guys said how he was bored with Alien. It's like, basically, how many times we know how it's going to end. I mean, which is typical of most films, I guess. It's like, you know that the alien's going to do this, and it's going to fucking kill everybody. Like, when the fuck do we change shit up? And I was like, And this is before I had seen the film. I remember what he said, and then when I saw the film, I'm just sitting there and said, all right, I kind of get what he's talking about. Yeah, but this shit is enjoyable. It's like watching a horror film. You know that if they're making Saw 19, a bunch of motherfuckers are going to die, but you still go to see it anyway. I just didn't enjoy the whole high spot, at least to me, then you dump a whole bunch of shit. High spot, then you dump a whole bunch of shit. Yeah, I really didn't appreciate that they killed off Billy Cudruth's character as well, the way they did. But like I said, I didn't stay to see the rest of it, and I bounced off. In actuality, as funny as this shit is to say, I fucking enjoyed The Mummy more than I enjoyed fucking Alien Covenant. And people were already and I already went into The Mummy, knowing that people were already bashing it and that it had fucking mixed reviews. At least I can look at The Mummy and see, all right, I see some potential. I know that there was an article that came out that said that Tom Cruise had his hand in everything. For some weird reason, my instinct is telling me that Tom Cruise probably didn't, and probably just said, fuck it, I know what you guys are trying to do. Just put the blame on me, and I'll just eat that. And I'll just say, I was responsible. I'm the reason why the shit went bad. That's just my crazy insight, but I didn't feel like it was a bad fucking film. I got where they were, I get with, where they were going with it. I also get what people were mentioning about the Jekyll and Hyde. My first thought was maybe we didn't see the full, creature come out. But if they're going in a different take, then this is just their take. If that's who they're if this is the route that they want to go through, as far as them creating, this is their special effects, and this is as far as they want to take it, then I'm fine with that. As long as you give me fucking, stronger story, and I can't say that their structure to me was all over the place. I was able to follow it, but it did seem a little lost. It did seem as if they didn't concentrate enough on the Mummy character. And the one thing that comes to mind, and this wasn't my favorite film, and I'm spazzing on it, is A Vampire in Brooklyn, and how the vampire character that Eddie Murphy played was always calling Angela Bassett's character, and he took, but you got to see the vampire throughout the film. He had his leash, and he took in different carnations and different disguises, but you saw him, right? And it's funny that I mentioned fucking Vampire in Brooklyn. Did I say Vampire in Brooklyn earlier? Did I say something else? Vampire in Brooklyn, because Angela Bassett's the star in that, and Courtney B. Vance, her husband, is in the fucking Mummy. Go figure. But where you could have had the Amanette character be similar to that Vampire in Brooklyn character, where it's constantly in Tom Cruise's character's ear and is around, and they got her, they chained her up, and you got to see shit through flashbacks, and she was going up against her family, and there was a sacrifice, and there was a story there. And then, it would have been better if she just blew life into Tom Cruise, and that's what corrupted him, initially, rather than having this whole thing with him trying to find out, or with the viewer trying to find out, is he or isn't he? Because some people said, they didn't understand that whether or not if he was the mummy. I mean, it was quite evident. We knew that, he was going to be the dude. I get it. But it's almost as if they took too long getting to the point, and they could have just gone, she gets him, attacks him, it's fucking close to 2 hours, and they could have just did all that shit in 90 minutes. They could have wrapped up a lot of shit in 90 minutes, and that could have been the setup for their universe. Now, rumor has it that the setup was supposed to be that vampire, that Vlad shit, with homeboy that was the villain that plays damn, I need some ginkgo biloba today, folks. Jason Statham's brother in the the Fast and Furious franchise. That shit was supposed to be the beginning, and that bombed, and they kicked that under the rug. You would figure that was fucking 2 years ago, that they would fucking really, really focus in on really if we're gonna do this, let's do this correctly. It just seems like people have their hands up their ass again, and they're just making a shitload of fucking alright, this shit went through a shitload of fucking writers. When I see fucking 4 writers, that shit smells like trouble to me. David Coet, Christopher McQuarrie, who I'm sure Tom Cruise brought in, Dylan Kussman, Alex Kurtzman. This shit went through this shit was problematic from the fucking beginning. This shit was problematic from the fucking beginning. Anytime I see that many hands on the screenplay, Mummy, we got a problem. But they could have just, in 90 minutes, even an hour and fucking 45, they could have really did more with less. And then, then you have this, is this going to be a love story with the, fucking archaeologist? Is it not? It's going to be this, it's going to be that. But I understood it. I can see how people were frustrated with it. Especially, actually, now that this shit makes so much fucking sense in my brain. As I'm tying it all in. As I did with fucking Alien Covenant. The Mummy has to out fucking do the previous Mummy fucking films that fucking What's-Her-Face built. Brendan Fraser built. So you gotta compete with that, because that shit had a fucking three fucking films and spawned other films. So you have to, when you're creating that, to go, all right, we're fucking doing the Mummy, and that means that we're in competition, with this Mummy of old, and we gotta make sure that we outdo this fucking Mummy. We really have to take this into consideration when we're doing this shit, and it's they just didn't, the one thing I'm cool with in a lot of films, I'll let a lot of shit slide, is if your writing is there and or if your writing is subpar on certain things, but you have some fucking high spots. And that's what, and I bring this back around with Kevin Smith and his writing of this, the stuff that he's been doing recently. Give me some high spots, because you've already gone on your podcast. I'm talking about Kevin Smith here, speaking on, I'm high and I'm doing the shit that I want to do, and these are fucking fun films. Yeah, cool, I get it. I'll come into that way, because as far as the acting, when I watched Yoga Hosers, two young ladies, his daughter and everything, fine, no problem with that. Had no problem. It's just the writing. I'm just checking his. I'm like, wait, like, who's this dude? Because the other guy that I knew of, the Kevin Smith that I'm looking for, is not fucking here. I'm like, what happened to your writing, man? Just give me some shit that I can go, you know what? All right, I this isn't the best film. I get it. It's popcorn. I get it. But give me some fucking high spots. And what I mean by high spots is that he's fucking known for his fucking humor. Give me some shit that I can chuckle on. If you give me that was like a 90-minute film. If he gave me at least 5, 6 high spots where I could laugh and go, oh, that shit was funny. 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 Okay, I get it. Oh, that shit was funny. Ha ha ha. Okay, I get that. Oh yeah, that was funny. Then I'm cool on that. That's cool shit. It was so, but he gave me some high spots, and I like that. He gave me some high spots, and I thought that was funny. Oh, that was funny. I thought it was cool. That didn't work. That was corny. But this scene here, when they're talking about how such and such is this, and that scene there, when that was fucking funny, and that line was funny. That's shit that when I leave out, I could say that movie was whack, but these fucking few scenes, it's worth it just watching a film off of that. And that's the shit, as I digress back down to Aliens again. It just got boring, where it was like, all right, that scene's hot. Then you're pulling me out of it with this shit right here. And you're pulling it out. The difference between Alien Covenant and Kevin Smith is that Kevin Smith was already making fun of his shit publicly. Like, look, a lot of people didn't like Yoga. This is, after him already making. This is recently. I just saw these films recently on VOD. So it's like, okay, I thought it would be funny for fucking Tusk if we just did this. And I was fucking laughing. And then that's what we did. And, all right, he's coming out openly saying, I'm doing this shit that I thought, these little quirky films that maybe you're not into it, but here I'm into it. So I got that. Okay, I can get into it then. It's like I'm walking into a theater already knowing, okay, this is what he already is kind of like saying. It may not be your cup of tea, but you knew that going in, and I'm curious. And then when I look at what he put up, I'm like, damn, dude, like, you didn't even give me any high spots, any, like, real humor, and you're known for being fucking funny as fuck. So when I go back to watch Alien Covenant, rather, it's like, I know what I'm getting into is chest bursting and spitting up and bodies cracking and destruction. But then you're taking my high away when you are fucking around with all this headiness and it is and the science and the blah, 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 and you're human and you're not, and the eggs and so that's the shit that I'm basically running my mouth on talking about when it comes to that shit. And going back to the Mummy, it's like, like I said, they could have done more, I feel, with less. If you cut the shit down to 90 and you force yourself in the corner and go, okay, what works? What stays and what goes? We keep this, that goes, this stays, that goes. It was almost as if they couldn't decide if they wanted to be an adventure film with some guys that steal shit, which is basically what kicks it off. And then we go into this whole quote unquote horror shit with, the mummy coming out the shell, and then they go back at the end on some adventure shit, and although, like I said, I did enjoy it more than I fucking did Alien Covenant, I'll probably circle around, when it comes out on VOD and check it out. I'm talking about Alien Covenant. Go check that shit out again, to see what I missed, and see if I was right to walk out, because my time is precious. Just like everyone else's time. So if you've been listening to me ramble for almost 90 minutes, god damn, I didn't even know I had 90 minutes in me. Your time is precious, and I appreciate your time listening to me just go on about shit. But very rarely do film sequels go on to be better. Can they do it? Or is this another DC example, Warner Brothers example, where they just spouting off shit? And I'm starting to really think that the studios are losing their fucking minds when they're doing this shit. They're spouting off shit. This is going to be a success. We're going to have 15 more films just like this, and it's going to be a universe, and and we're going to get Angelina Jolie, and she's going to be the fucking bride. And that's where I go in again with, if we go safe, if we get someone safe, then they can help sell tickets for us. Why not get someone like, Jessica Biel, or a fucking Megan What's-Her-Face, the one from Transformers? Get a lesser known that, there's no, that shit like that lets me know that sometimes you don't have a story. So what you're doing is you're trying to fuck with the viewer by sticking in a star, quote unquote, a popular name that's going to put asses in seats. Where if you go with someone that is really trying to get it, that's still hungry, that wants to come into the game, still wants to do fucking quality shit, and it's less on your budget, and that means we get to really focus in on our screenplay. Let's get someone like those two and make them the Bride of Frankenstein, or the young lady that I mentioned from fucking Battlestar, or some shit like that. Make them that. No, we're gonna funnel money, because I'm sure that Angelina, if they do go that way, that's gonna be a paycheck right there. And that's gonna eat into your budget, and of course that's gonna eat into your story budget, and into your screenplay budget. And we don't know how many incarnations that shit's gonna take. So it is what it is. What the fuck? Oh, yeah, I heard that this shit, the budget was like 190 million, I believe, on this film. I don't even know what the fuck to do with a budget. 125. Like, man, I don't know, maybe I would play a Kevin Smith role and bow out if I just like, this is too much fucking bread. But then again, all that bread goes up based on the names that you attach to, because Tom Cruise is 30 million easy. 30 million easy, which knocks that shit down to like 80 or 90 million. And fucking Russell Crowe. And Russell Crowe has a motherfucking Oscar. So Russell Crowe has definitely got to be, I'm going to say, $10 to $15 million right off the back. Because he doesn't have a lot of franchises. He has a lot of good films, under his belt. And those two are the biggest fucking names. But, so let's take, alright, so that's 10 to 15, that knocks it down to 70. I could probably do a $70 million film with a great crew. This film, I'm not saying I could do this fucking film. Me personally, I don't like doing projects unless my fucking script is right. Plain and simple. And actually, that reminds me of another fucking concept that I'm going to do another podcast for. And that is going to be for my filmmakers and any artists. When you get a fucking idea and you feel that you should do it, do it. Because I had an incident that happened to me. And basically, I'm watching the fucking trailer of the fucking film. And I was going to do it as a film short. So that will be a podcast for another time, but it will be very soon. On that note, I'm going to peace out, you people, and hopefully this was some ear drama for you that you stayed on. And let me know, what are your feelings on studios and how I feel that they're losing their brains and the shit that's going on, and just your thoughts in general regarding this fucking podcast. Oh, and I also want to say in closing that there will be no fuckery on this motherfucking channel from motherfucking comments. I'm going to delete that shit as soon as I get the fucking chance. Because I've got time for fuck shit. And I've got time to fucking get rid of fucking haters and bullshit. People that troll and come on and just do just dumb fuck shit. This is for the fucking future. Period. People that come on and just, oh, you suck. Oh, you're a dick. Oh, and you just make a comment. Oh, I think Batman is cool. Batman's a fucking asshole and so are you. That shit like that. You will be dealt with. I will fucking rather. I have put like this. I have enough time to fucking do fuck shit to make you get various fucking emails to keep fucking trying to do stupid shit. I'm just gonna annoy him. I'm just gonna come up with another account. I will fucking get you as bored as fucking possible. You will tire your fucking arms out. I am not the one to fuck with. I may not catch everyone, but I'll have fucking fun doing it. And the cool thing is that you'll never see it coming because you'll think that you'll be fucking dropping comments and the shits won't even be on this motherfucking channel and the other shit that we got popping. So, on that note, I wish I had said that in the opening. On that note, I want to bid you guys an adieu. A ciao bella. My fucking voice is fading out a little bit. Or getting scratchy. I'll say my voice is getting scratchy. It's time for me to power up. Drink some more Agua 2000. And I'll say peace. Ciao bella. Guys, let me know what you think. Peace.